depends on what I'm going to talk about. Yeah.
Okay, so now we should be live. Now let me see. How do I find out what the link is? I have no idea. So let's see. If you go to YouTube, I'll do a different browser just so it's completely clear. Let me try to go to youtube.com and let's see if I can find it.
Okay. I
Okay.
really.
Oh, I found
Okay.
it. It's right
Huh?
there at the beginning. Oh, geez. Okay. How do I share this? Oh, it says upcoming. Scheduled for. Oh, okay. Um, Here, I'll send you in WeChat. All right. So somehow it says upcoming. I have no idea what that means. It's got a picture of me on it.
Uh-huh.
So actually, uh, if you have not seen this before, so is this the first one? I can't
I guess
believe
take
this.
some time.
No, I was just trying to find the very first Joe Rogan podcast.
No, it's live. I can see it. Yeah.
Oh, you
I
can
think
see
it's
us.
there's a 1 minute delay or something like that.
So, oh yes, you're right. Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Gee, I
Um,
really need to shave. Yeah.
all right. I was just trying to look at. Anyway, so the there's no real. Why can't I center myself? What if my camera is like way over? I wish there was.
Uh-huh.
It said shift two. Okay, so in my mind, that's just trying to share with you. I have two different minds. One is the very first Joe Rogan podcast that I remember seeing. It's exactly like this. It was he and Brian. I think it was Brian, not Brian Benben. Anyway, with his producer, and they were just goofing around trying to figure out the stuff, like I am here for the camera and the noise, and so
Uh-huh.
that's one. The other that I have in my mind is Scott Adams. I don't know. Do you know Scott Adams?
Not bad name.
Okay. Well, anyway, he became famous as a cartoonist. He made a cartoon called Dilbert, which was very popular amongst people like you and I. It's very
Mm-hmm.
popular amongst engineers and people who live in large companies like BMW. So in the
Uh-huh.
West, all of your Germans, if you were an American, if you were working for General Motors, if you were doing what you did for General Motors, all of your American colleagues would know Dilbert. I guarantee you, 100%. Um,
Uh-huh.
Everyone you would talk to, our American peers would all know Dilbert. Anyway, but he did the same thing during the Trump era. He started a podcast and he started it just like this. He had all sorts of technical problems and he would just work through them on air and he would just say, I'm going to show people how to make a successful podcast by streaming it, showing you all my mistakes at the beginning. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now, ultimately, he got canceled because he made a podcast where he said white people should get away from black people,
Okay.
and he got completely canceled. I mean, his lifetime legacy was destroyed. You know, all of his material was removed from all media in America. It was just, it's really fascinating. What happened to him. Anyway, well, I have to say this StreamYard is amazing. It's very easy, and you can get a chance. I didn't have to set up anything. It was much easier than YouTube. So,
Uh-huh.
and
So
supposedly
this,
this,
how do you connect this to YouTube? I mean,
um, when I went to say go live, it said, where do you want to stream it to? And you can
oh,
stream
so
it to all sorts of places.
so
Oh,
it's like
actually,
a hand-free like setup.
right. So, well, actually, here, let's see this. How can I share my screen? Present. I can show you. So then here we go. Okay, present, share screen. Okay, share my screen. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, can I share the window? Okay, here we go. So share this. Does this work? Share. Okay. Oh, I see. Now I have to add it. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, you can. Okay, so it stopped.
Yes.
Can you still see my face too? Oh, you see
Yes.
my face here. I see.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
You're seeing. Okay, so when I click on edit, do you see this edit window?
Yes, I see it. Hold on, I have a incoming phone call.
Oh, okay.
喂，你好。Ah, geez, this sounds like a scam.
So this is okay. So this is the StreamYard interface. I've never used it before, so I'm
Uh-huh.
learning as well. But if I click on, I mean, it's so simple. It's idiot proof, so that you know I can use it. I click on edit, and then here are the destination. I can add another. Right now, it's going to YouTube, to my YouTube account.
Okay.
I could stream to your YouTube account, and then it gives me I can stream to Facebook profile, Facebook page, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. I don't even know what Hoptim, or my custom destination. So
Mm-hmm.
I can stream to multiple. We could stream to Twitter. Like, okay, so if I say stream to Twitter, and then it'll say, okay, what Twitter account? And it'll
Mm.
ask me, okay, and then I can put my Twitter account, and then
Yeah, got
let's see if
it.
it works. Let's see if it'll work. All right, let's see. I'll just try it. I don't even know if I know my Twitter account anymore, or my X. Redirecting StreamYard. Now what is it gonna say? It says click. Is that it? Oh, so now I'm streaming to. Okay.
To multiple platform.
Oh, okay. So now we're also streaming to Twitter. So if you go to my Twitter, ST Hubbard. Oh, by the way, I named it the Gas Podcast because I was really going to say Gung and Steve, and then I realized, oh, Gung and Steve is just gas. So,
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a smart ass name. Yeah.
okay. So now let me try. I'm going to go on to my Twitter and see if I
Uh-huh.
can find it on Twitter. Okay. Boost security. No, I don't want to boost my security. I have no idea. How do I don't even know how to use Twitter. So profile? Okay, well I'll have to look at. I don't. I never use Twitter. You use Twitter way more than I do, so you're an expert
I
at
don't
Twitter.
use it that much actually.
Uh,
Only on some days.
uh, okay. Also, I was thinking about. Do you know that podcast, the All In podcast?
Yeah, you showed me. Yes.
Well, partly what um, interested me in that podcast was how they have four Silicon Valley executives. So, although I'm not an executive necessarily, I mean I could be, but they talk about tech stuff, but they also talk about gambling stuff, and they also talk about politics, and also a couple of them seem to have very contentious discussions about particularly Trump. Like one of them hates Trump and one of them loves Trump,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's just fascinating to see how they can maintain their friendship through that hatred. Um, so, uh, although we don't have, I think I'm too open. So, you know, uh, so next week I have two court cases. I have to go to court twice next week for two
Oh,
different cases.
okay.
Um, one of
What?
them is just for child support. It's for nothing. The other one is the more important one. It's where his mother sued me for, you know, causing disharmony to China. Um, so, oh,
Oh,
there we go.
by the way, actually, there's another incident just happened today or yesterday. I saw it on Twitter. Yes. I think two Japanese, like one is student and her mom and his mother were attacked
Mm,
on a school bus.
okay.
So somehow there's a sentiment. Uh, Careful.
Okay. All right.
Oh, by the
Okay.
did you check the video I sent to you yesterday about the interview
We had a long discussion
in
about it.
Chinese? No, but I don't know you already checked it out or not. You just open it and then see it in Chinese and then close it. I don't know.
I gave you a deep analysis. What was my feedback that I told you about that?
She, you don't like her way of speaking.
See, you are. I didn't say that. What did I actually say? See if you can say back. Well, I never said I didn't like the way I never
I
used that
cannot
word.
recite. I can't recite it.
Right. So this is
You
where
cannot deny. You
somehow
cannot deny that. I mean,
I said very clearly that she talks in a complicated way. She strikes me like what I feel like when I talk to some Chinese lawyers, that they use $10 words when a 10-cent word would do. So I'm saying it's very difficult for me to understand because of the vocabulary that they're using, and they give me the impression that they're. And the example that I gave was William F. Buckley, who you may not know.
I
Um,
don't.
right. But he is well known. He was a conservative comment. He was like you've heard of Tucker Carlson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So William F. Buckley was similar to Tucker Carlson in that he was a conservative commentator, except he was completely different than Tucker, because Tucker is known for talking very plainly, talking to the less
Using folk
educated.
language.
Yes, right. Tucker gets into the conspiracy theories, whereas William F. Buckley used the most high falutin language possible.
Yeah.
He was known for being, his nose was up in the sky. He talked like he was like super wealthy or
Yeah, I
whatever.
get
And
that. I mean, I watched
right,
some documentaries. Some of the presenters, like Simon Sharma, for example,
right.
who also
Like
use
who?
his like Simon Sharma,
I don't know that person. Who's that
who's
person?
an art historian
Okay,
in Stanford University. Yeah, one of his work is the power of art, for example. Yeah, he tend to use yeah, high language. Yeah.
right. And do you have any difficulty understanding him when he talks?
Yes, of course. Yes. I mean, I have to pay like 100% attention,
Right.
to follow. Yeah.
And see, your English is already, 10,000 times better than mine of my
Oh, gee.
Chinese,
Hmm.
comparatively. I mean, my Chinese is about a 5-year-old level. It's very uneducated
On
street
cursing, I don't think so. I mean,
cursing. Well, cursing is a very uneducated action. So, yes, cursing doesn't need education for
hmm.
cursing. I never know a class in college where they say, here's cursing 101, here's how to do it. So, yeah, so when it's for one, it was very difficult for me to pay attention to her, and two, I don't want to watch shows about that topic, you know, in a language that I have a hard enough time understanding. So
Hmm.
no, I don't. I was also less interested in hearing about that topic. So um, yeah, but
Hmm.
I think it's hilarious that you say forward to my son. Like I told you, I can't even get him to say hi to me. You think I'm going to get him to watch a
Still, I
video?
mean, if you forward it to him, probably he will watch it. Hmm.
He doesn't even open money I send him. So I send him money every day, and he doesn't even open it. So I don't even,
Well,
as far as I know, it's not even his account. I don't even know what account I'm sending this to. So I'm just sending it to some random WeChat account that his mom probably controls or clearly controls. But
hmm. Hmm.
like I told you, the only success I've had to get him to interact with me is to get him pissed off. So I've got to work on finding ways to really piss him off. That's my only possibility.
Hmm.
Okay, so then what's going on your side? On your business front, how's the AI business coming?
Well, that's not really a business. I'm only do prototyping. Um, Actually, I'm way behind my schedule, so that's a problem. I'm supposed to put all these things together into a product. It's like a chat engine using Llama 3, and also things like Stable Diffusion and some ASR engine, also AI models. I'm supposed to stick all these things together using some kind of library. But yeah, I'm way behind my schedule because it's very difficult for me to get a stable environment to work on. I can't work on my local computer because my computer is too weak. It's I cannot get a stable server because I'm constantly interrupted by the GFW. So it is a
So
pain.
you can't directly access the Amazon servers?
No, I can, but if I establish an SSH session, the session will be interrupted like in every 5 minutes or so.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, very annoying.
Yes, I can imagine. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. But actually, in the past 2 or 3 days, I'm working on a different topic. I'm working on a simple neural network that try to predict uh, which is a good timing to enter a market. For example, to buy Bitcoin or to sell. This is a this is actually my first time I tried something like this in the financial market.
Okay. Are you familiar with what was it, long-term capital? The story of long-term capital investment?
What is that? You mean a book or a concept or
There was a company, I think it was called like LTC, Long-Term Capital Investment.
yeah, I heard about it. That's probably, I think there was a case we discussed in the MBA class.
Exactly. Do you see my Wikipedia page here?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. Let me see if I got long-term capital management.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, yeah,
Highly leveraged have 1998. Um,
yeah,
Initially successful with annualized returns of 21%, and then 43, and then 41, and then it lost 4.6 billion.
yeah. We
Um,
discussed this case. Yeah.
so the main strategy was to find pairs of bonds, have a predictable spread between their prices.
Mhm.
But I think what I remember was I thought they were using, and maybe I'm wrong. I thought they were using computers to do their LTCM. Uh, right. Oh, so here's their performance. Yeah, I have no my my I aspire to what Warren Buffett I because Warren Buffett talks in a plain way that makes people feel like they understand what he does.
Uh-huh.
So um although I
What's
haven't
Warren
been able,
Buffett's uh, what's his opinion on this on using computer to investment?
uh my okay, so my naive understanding of what he has to say. And it's also the same thing that I learned that I understand from rule number 1 investing is that if you buy something for less than it's worth, and you're
Mhm.
confident that it's most likely going to be successful,
Mhm.
then that's the safer way to make money. And
Then
the
what?
thing, well, so, but the thing is that to do those things, people get very confused. So, for example, in how do you value a company?
Mhm. It's very complicated.
Well, it's not as complicated as people would think, but people make the mistake of thinking that just because something has gone down in price, that now is a good time to buy it. Um,
Mhm.
and but when you think about houses or cars, people don't think that way as much. Houses maybe. Um, okay, so the way that I think about it is, imagine I told you I wanted to sell you a car,
Mhm.
and all I wanted you to give me was 100,000 renminbi.
Mhm.
Would you buy my car?
Well, it depends on your car.
Exactly. Right?
Mhm.
What if I told you
Mhm.
it was a brand new Lamborghini? Would you buy it?
Yeah, sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, but what if I told you it's a 30-year-old car that doesn't even have an engine?
Well, yeah.
Of course not,
You
right?
know the answer, right?
Right. So,
So
and that's the thing with
get to the
companies.
point. Yeah.
Right. That's the whole point with companies. That some companies you can't look at the price. You have to compare the price to the value of the company, right?
Whoa,
So,
whoa, whoa. That's different. The analog is false because, well, in theory, in an effective market, everything is already reflected in the price.
and that's what he
So,
rejects. He rejects that. That's the efficient market hypothesis, and Warren Buffett
yes.
100% rejects that. He rejects that. He says that that's false, and the people who propose that are all poor. And he says, I've been proving for the past 60 years that this is false. And so people, all of these eggheads at colleges can keep saying that, and they can keep staying poor. And I'm going to show them that it's not true, and I'll keep being rich. He's addressed this.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
addressed this 50 years ago. That have
I mean,
come out or whatever.
that's the idea. Not saying, well, in reality, all markets are sufficiently effective. That's not the
Right.
case. Yeah.
Warren Buffett's response to that is that in the short term, markets are uh, voting machines. In the long
Hmm.
term, they're weighing machines. So what
Hmm.
he means is, in the short term, people have irrational valuations, both too low and too high for companies.
Hmm.
In the long
Yes.
term, yes, in the long term, it's going to approach a real value, right? So
Hmm.
it may be 10% over or 10% under, or even 30% over or 30% under. But in the long term trend, if it's going up, it'll go up. If it's going down, it'll go down. So that's his
Yeah.
point, is like, I want to take advantage of the irrationalities of other humans and buy things when they are irrationally cheap, and then just hold
Hmm.
on to them because I'm confident that they're going to go up. Is his
Yeah, that's
perspective.
exactly the idea. Exactly the idea of all the traders.
Okay, wait a minute. That's not your idea. The reason why I'm coming to this discussion is because that's the actual opposite of what you're proposing. You're proposing, you think that there is some mathematical, because he doesn't do any mathematical analysis. He doesn't do any
Hmm.
trending about prices going up, prices going down, speed of market, beta, all of that. None of that is involved. And what you're talking about is complete opposite of what Warren Buffett does. You're trying
Hmm.
to think of some
No, actually,
mathematical analysis
I'm
of
doing the
trending.
same. Only I'm using computers to identify, to spot the where the market is ineffective, to exploit these opportunities.
Mm, but you're not looking at the underlying value of what you're purchasing, and that's the key point that's missing. So
Well, you
you
don't
are
have
indifferent
to.
about.
You
But
don't
that's
have
the
to.
whole point of Warren Buffett's. Yes, but that's the crux. What I'm saying
Oh,
is you're doing completely opposite of what Warren's doing. Warren's saying is the underlying value is the most important item. And anyone who doesn't look at the underlying value of what they're
yeah, but
purchasing is gambling.
the underlying value is already reflected to a certain extent, actually to a large extent, in the price.
Okay. That's where Warren Buffett would disagree. That's my point. Absolutely
Mm,
not agreed by Warren Buffett at all. He doesn't agree with that
mhm,
point at all. Doesn't agree
mhm.
at all. And especially if you're looking at something like Bitcoin, which has zero underlying value, right? From his
That's a
perspective.
misunderstanding of Bitcoin.
I'm saying I'm trying to express as best as I can Warren Buffett's position. So
Mhm,
Warren Buffett, I think he's talked very clearly that he also wouldn't invest in gold either. So he wouldn't invest in gold, he wouldn't invest in Bitcoin, and in his position, this is all gambling. He said you might as well go to Las Vegas and play the odds there. That all you're doing, you're not looking at that's not investing from his perspective. Investing is buying something of value for less than it's worth and then just waiting until people realize the actual worth of what you purchased. And then you can either
mhm.
hold on to it that's going to increase in value or sell it. So I'm
Yeah,
expressing
that's the
his
point. I
perspective.
mean, I understand. I understand his perspective. Yes, you
Right.
want to buy things like Apple share or Nvidia shares. Yes, and because you can easily see the value. There's a value, so that's very important concept for Warren Buffett. But well, there's also value for gold or for Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. Uh,
Right. Well, right. Okay. So, I mean, you mentioned NVIDIA. NVIDIA is probably a terrible purchase right now. It's probably a terrible
uh,
purchase.
well, you can say the risk is very high, but why? But why is necessarily a terrible idea?
Well, again,
If you
talking,
use Warren Buffett's theory, you
yes.
only say, well, um, if you only say it's a terrible idea when there's a competitor emerged from the market which shows great potential, then yes, the value Nvidia would become overvalued. There's no alternative here now.
Okay. So again, I still have a more conservative understanding of Warren Buffett's belief. Had nothing to do with competitor. His position, for example, another one of his folksy wisdoms is I want to buy a company that any idiot could run because someday one will.
Hmm.
What does that mean to you?
Get it? I'm not sure I really get it, so maybe you want to
Okay.
explain.
So I want to invest in a company that any idiot can run because
Well,
someday one will.
well, like Coca-Cola selling sugar water. Is that
Well,
what it means?
okay, what I understand it to mean is don't, for example, if you invest in Elon Musk, you're clearly investing in that one human being. And if all
Hmm.
of a sudden Elon Musk got hit by a bus, dies for some reason,
Hmm.
that would probably be anybody who comes in after Elon Musk is going to be an idiot in comparison, even if they're a
Hmm.
genius, right?
Yeah.
Now, Apple, for example, has proven that Tim Cook is an idiot compared to Steve Jobs, right? So idiot
Hmm.
doesn't have to mean that they're brain dead, but there was a big question when Steve Jobs died if Apple would collapse because it was heavily surrounded around his personality. And Apple has proven that nope, any idiot can run this company. You know, that the moat is so strong around this company.
Yeah. Tim Cook is no idiot. Okay.
Yes. It's an exaggeration, right? But the point is that this leader is replaceable. So so even if Tim Cook got replaced with someone else, Apple would still not collapse, right? It would take many idiots in a row for the company to collapse. So even if a leader less good than Tim Cook came in, they might suffer a little, but Apple still got a lot of runway to survive.
No, I think there's one guy who before Steve Jobs, by the name of Scotty,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Who really screwed this company. So what do you mean by any idiot can run this?
Well, first of all, the company did survive, Scully, right? So
Uh-huh.
the company did not collapse, and the company, Scully has he has a mixed review. He wasn't a terrible leader.
Hold on, I have another for the information. 喂，你好。哪位？不用了。
Yes, Scully, the Pepsi, the Pepsi executive.
Yes.
So, okay. Well, it's interesting. I have, yeah, I have mixed experience with investing. It's I have emotional reactions to investing that I don't have the emotional
Really?
fortitude.
Why? Jesus, I should have a really emotional reaction to investments. Damn it.
I don't have the consistency. Oh, okay. Here's to give you an example of my emotional reaction was last night I had my piano lesson with my teacher,
Uh-huh.
and I'm learning a new piece. But then I did this one section and I did it. I was able to do it. And I was so proud of myself. And then I told my teacher, I said, I'm both proud and depressed at the same time. I'm proud that I did that, but I'm depressed because what I did was just like a baby rolling over. And I'm applauding myself for just rolling over, but I realize how insignificant, I'm so proud of something so ridiculously insignificant that it's like only a baby could be proud of this. So I'm so embarrassed. It's like I'm embarrassed and proud at the same time.
Why? But I mean, how long have you been practicing already? Like 5 years? 4 years?
At least. That's even more. That
Yeah.
makes me
But
even
I
more
mean, if you
embarrassed.
look back, you are like infinitely better than where you started.
No, actually, no. That's also why it's embarrassing. No, I'm not.
Huh?
I'm not. I'm not. I don't. Looking globally, no. It's just as hard as it was 5 years ago. I see very, very little progress of that sense. So I just keep doing it. No, that makes me even more embarrassed because after 5 years, like I watch these videos on YouTube of people like my progress after 1 year. After 5 years, I'm not even that close. So no,
Huh? But I
I have.
mean, the piece you sent to me for level 4 or level 3, that was already really good to me. I mean,
Yeah, but that was 6 months of practicing to be able to do that one skit. And now I've completely forgotten all of that. It's not like I've learned that and I can still do it. If you were to ask me to do that now, probably couldn't play any of those songs. I couldn't play any of those songs now. I would have to start again from the beginning and learn them again. So no, I have no sense of, I've learned and I've gotten here and I learned. No, it's like I learn and then I go back to beginning. And then I learn, I go back to beginning. I learn. I mean, maybe I have progressed a little, but it's like very, very little. Very, very little.
I don't know. Jesus, I stopped like long ago. So
I
I can
mean,
only
one thing,
say I envy you in this respect already. Yeah.
like I said, you could pass me up like that because my speed is so unbelievably slow. And
I don't even
also,
know when can I start again. I don't even know. No clue.
Maybe when you're my age, when you get this old, and you realize I'm not good for anything else anymore, so might as well do the piano. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So anyway, but the idea of having automated investing tool, I mean, that's kind of like it's somewhat of a fantasy of somewhat, I guess, the idea of you have an AI that can do the analysis and automatically invest. But again, back to the long-term capital management, what I understand from having seen some, news program about them is that they had developed automated rules for their investing, and that's what was making them all their money. But when the
Mhm.
market just shifted a little bit to violate their rules went crazy, and the rules weren't smart enough to adjust for that
Yeah, I
unanticipated
mean,
change.
in theory, there's no way to predict market velocity in theory. So that also implies that any patterns you captured would only work for a certain period, and then you have to adjust. Otherwise, you will lose yeah, dramatically. So, but again, I mean, it's just automation tool. It's like you just automate, you replace a computer program with whoever a human being as a trader. You just have to know the limitations.
Mm. Well, yeah. Well, sounds interesting. It's well, it was another folk wisdom that I heard from one of my mentors was life or business is like sitting next to the railroad tracks. And as the trains go by, each train car is like an opportunity. And
Hmm.
some people are there and they don't even realize they have opportunities going by, you know. And some people are there and they see the opportunities, but they're not able to reach out and grab them to capitalize them, you know. And
Mm.
then the third type of person, they see the opportunities and occasionally, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 50, they're able to reach out, grab it, and take advantage of those opportunities.
Hmm.
And then of course the ultimate, the top level is people who create their own opportunities.
Yeah. Gee.
I think I'm the second person. I think I see opportunities going by, but I'm seldom either able or willing or uh, capable of grabbing them. It's like I see it, I'm like, yeah. It's like with AI. It's like obviously I see AI as a huge opportunity, but
Well, as far as I know, well, you at least tried several, right?
yes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Uh,
that's a good analog, actually. I also have the same feeling that I've lost too many opportunities already
yeah.
due to various reasons. And that's
And
also why I'm reading this book recently, and let me find, it's called Peak. The what is called the name? Let me show you. The name is yeah, Peak and Secrets from the New Science of Expertise. But there's a different name. Let me see. Something like the power of deliberate practice or something like that. The power of a purposeful practice. Yeah,
mm,
basically, it argues that a lot of so-called talents or gifts are actually the result of purposeful practice. Oh, by the way, this also contradicts with the idea of there's no free will.
Well, it that okay. That does not contradict with the idea that there's no free will. Um, so I mean that's a whole nother discussion. Uh,
Yeah.
I accept that we act. Let's act as though we have free will, and so let's because I also think that that's a I don't have a strong defense of the no free will. At a low level, I understand it. At a high level, um, well, who was it? I was just listening. Was it Sabine Hofstetter? Someone was just talking about this. Is that at different levels of granularity, there are different rules that make sense. So, at the quantum level, when we're talking about quarks and muons and nuons and Higgs bosons, there are certain rules that apply. But then when we get up to the size of human beings, we no longer take into account quantum effects. And when we get to the size of planets and suns, you know, gravity is more important and all these things. So
Mm-hmm.
even if ultimately quantum effects control everything, we can completely ignore it at our level. So even if we wanted to say maybe at the quantum level there's no free will, but at our level we do have free will, or we feel like we have free will, right? It's just like people who say 99% of us is empty space, right? Because every atom is mostly just the nucleus surrounded by empty space, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, I don't feel like I'm empty space. If someone tried to convince me that I'm 99% empty space, I would say they're insane. Wouldn't you say they're insane? Someone who
Not
says you're
only that, not only that. I mean, okay, something happened because of something happened like 1 second ago, 1 minute ago, 1 hour ago, 1 day ago, 1 month ago, etc. Yes, but something happened for a lot of different reasons, even 1 second ago. There's one explanation that doesn't eliminate other reasons.
well, let me bring it back to this analogy though. Would you
Mhm.
agree that my body is 99% empty? It's
Yeah, I
mostly
know
empty
that.
space. But
Yes, I agree.
I
Yeah.
feel like I'm completely solid. I feel solid. No one could ever convince me that I'm anything but solid, right? I'm solid.
Hmm. Hmm.
So to me, free will is possibly the same. Maybe yes, in reality we have no free will, but for practical purposes, we have free will.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
also an argument. Yeah.
so I can accept for practical purposes we have free will. I have free will.
Mhm.
So in that sense, I agree with the peak that we can decide, or at least we feel like we can decide, like I'm doing with my piano, right? So if I were to
Mhm.
spend 10,000 hours on my piano, that
Mhm.
I would get to a certain level. Now, so even if I work this out, maybe I spend 30 minutes a day. Let's say I average 30 minutes a day in a month. That's 15 hours in a month. In a year, that's 150 hours in a year about. So even if we say let's say I spend 100 hours in a year. If I spent 100 hours in a year, that means I need 100 years to get 10,000, right?
Mhm.
And even if I have that to 50 years, that seems completely realistic. At my rate of progress, yes, in 50 years, I could imagine it. So I've only spent 10% of my journey. I've spent 5 years. So I need another 45 years. I need another 45 years to achieve mastery of the piano. That seems true. That seems true.
Yeah.
So I either need to increase my amount of practice time, or just wait 45 years.
Yeah.
Um, so in that sense, this peak. Now, this also though, that I'm a strong determinist and think people have fixed abilities, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So even if I spend those 45 years, I would never be a Mozart. I would never be a Beethoven. I would never be one of those. I would be in the top 20% or even the top
Mhm.
10%, but I'm
Mhm.
never going to be the top 1%. You have to be determined to get into the top 1% of anything. You have to have that natural ability. It has to be part of your genetic code.
Yeah,
Um,
actually, this is one of the topic discussed in the first chapter. So you heard about this ability called perfect pitch.
Yes.
People, yeah, people believe this is something, some talent, some people are gifted, but
Oh,
turns
that's
out
true.
no. Turns out, well, this is trainable, but there's a critical period. You have to train it before a certain age. And also, the first clue emerged when modern research scientists noticed that, well, perfect pitch appears much more in countries or in cultures where there is a tonal language than in a non-tonal language. That's the first clue. And then some Japanese scientists who actually trained uh, something like 20 children in 2 years to learn this technique, perfect pitch, all of them. So now we know perfect pitch is not something mysterious, not some genes in some of the brain. No, it's just you have to train it at an early stage. You have
Okay.
to
Well,
purposefully train it.
well, you know me. I'm skeptical. So first of all, there's a difference between perfect pitch and relative pitch. I concede relative pitch is trainable. So it is possible, yes, I could even be trained to have relative pitch. All of the evidence that I've seen is perfect pitch can't be trained. Relative pitch can be trained, but not perfect pitch. So I
Yeah,
would love to
people
see
used
this
to believe
study.
so. Yes.
Okay, you send this to me. So and perfect pitch is something you don't have to train. For example, it comes as part of the nature of
Yeah,
the
it's like
person that
saying
there are these
saying
differences.
learning Chinese is not you don't have to train it for Chinese people. Of course. Yeah.
Um,
You don't have to train Chinese to learn Chinese to speak Chinese. Yeah.
well, it would be more like training to see different colors, and uh, it's
Yeah.
absolutely true that certain people are more sensitive to colors than others, and
Yes,
no amount
and
of
we know the
training,
reason. And
no amount of training could make someone develop that skill to distinguish colors as well. They can improve their ability to distinguish colors, especially when comparing colors. But
hmm
some people biologically, naturally have a much keener sense of color distinguishing.
yeah,
I would
that
love to
I
see this.
already know, and I even know I can explain to you why.
Okay, explain.
Yeah, for example, some people, normal people have three types of cone cells in the retina, right? Some people may have four. That's one difference. And then, even with three types of cone cells, if you're trained at an early age, yes, you may be become more sensitive to certain color difference. That's possible. It's like if you live in a dark environment, you are able to differentiate like subtle difference between different shades of gray. Yes, that's trainable. It's only that you have to be purposefully trained and probably before certain age. And perfect pitch is the same thing.
Okay, I did a Google search and they said um, it is for children 2 to 6, the Iguchi method. Eguchi. Is
Yes.
that what you're talking about?
Yes, so you got that. Yeah.
Uh, okay. Well, are there any is there any peer-reviewed studies on this?
I bet so. I didn't check, but I bet so. I mean, a lot of research were going into this kind of thing. So,
Well, let's look at scholar.google.com. I didn't find anything Iguchi method. Okay. Nope.
Yeah, you have to search things like a perfect pitch or something like that.
Well, no, this would be this. It would be about this particular method, Iguchi method. There's not a single scholarly article about this that I find. Let me see. Maybe I need to change my search. Okay, there we go. Maybe that's it. How do I do this? Okay, share my screen. Share my screen. What does it say? Okay, window. This one? Okay. Where is it? Oh, okay, here we go. Absolute pitch. Okay. Chord. Is absolute pitch the same as perfect pitch?
Probably. Or maybe there's a difference. I don't know.
Is absolute pitch the same as perfect pitch? I know there's relative pitch. At least I've
You want
heard
to be
these.
careful. You want to be careful about checking this on ChatGPT.
But ChatGPT is perfect. Everything ChatGPT says is perfect. Okay. All right. So it says it's the same. Okay. Whatever. Decline all. Sage chord identification method. Investigate longitudinal process of acquiring absolute pitch. 24 children were trained to acquire using Iguchi's chord identification method. Okay, so this is what it's called, the chord identification method. Okay. But I wonder if this sticks with them or if it goes away without continuous practice.
Well, I think it's kind of like a learn to writing a basic. The ability, the skills will decline somewhat, but then you pick up very easily.
Okay. Well, let's see. Absolute pitch. I'm trying to see what's the date on this.
90s. There, did you see it?
I mean, is there no
No,
volume?
scroll up. Yeah, see, 1997 October, first
What?
published.
Where do you see that? I don't even see that.
What? Just above
Oh,
the title.
here. I see. Okay. So this is how many years ago was that? 27 years ago? It seems suspicious to me.
Yeah, because
Right. I mean,
you're holding a different belief.
oh, well, yes, because my belief fits all of the current data that I have heard. Okay, here we go. So your pitch intervals. Okay. Perfect pitch. Okay, here we go. Oh, well, let me see. Let me see if there's a okay, absolute pitch. Okay. Okay, history study, linguistics, perception. Okay, nature versus nurture. Here we go. Okay, it says it might be achievable during a critical period. Okay. Okay, so they're saying it's still controversial. Proponents of it, okay, is learning, but there's disagreement. Right. Disagreement about whether training causes absolute skills to occur. So it's not a set like you're trying to propose. It's still, at least according to this.
Yeah. To you, it's still controversial. Yes.
No, to Wikipedia, they're saying these
Yeah. To
references here.
anyone. Yeah. Whoever reads this passage.
Right. And well, then they're citing all of these references here. So they're citing this here. What is this? 中国农业银行. Oh, they're probably telling me. Hold on. Wait. Hey, why are they giving me a junk call? Okay. Well, can you make yourself 6 years again?
Unfortunately, no. Yeah, I would love to. I would love
So,
to.
so yes, it's a difficult. This is a difficult thing to test, right? Because we're saying you have to get people before the age of 6, and then after the age of
What do you mean
6.
by difficult? I mean, people have tried this. Was that Japanese? Before that, we used to say like this is an incident happened like 1 out of 10,000 or 1 out of 100,000. But then we realized, well, in Asian countries, in Chinese, it seems the incident rate is higher than that, significantly higher.
So I definitely okay. Here we go. Okay, it said well here it does say absolute pitch is considerably more common among those who spent early childhood in East Asia.
Yeah.
It might be due to a genetic difference. Whoops, you're not gonna like that statement.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it says people of East Asian ancestry reared in North America are less likely to have absolute.
Oh. Yeah.
So it's more probably gained by experience. So by their speaking, what are these funny languages like Mandarin or Cantonese or Thai?
Yeah. Those are tonal languages.
Okay. What's up with the tonal language? Why can't you just be like, just make it
Yeah.
even?
Like I told you, Chinese is inherently musical. That's my cultural pride.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I think this is a good place to stop. So,
Mhm.
uh, if we're gonna do this, I think we should try and make something reliable rather than sporadic. Whether it's
Yeah.
once a week or something,
Incoming phone calls. Yeah.
right? So we can see if this. I mean, right now my time is very free. I think I don't know what your time is coming and going, but um, we'll see next week what time if we want to continue on. But this
Yeah.
type of meaningless discussion, at least it's good to catch up with you and you can tell me where I'm wrong.
Uh-huh.
I learned about the Iguchi. What is it? Nguchi method, Ugunachi
Yes.
method, and Gucci method.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
I agree that
Um,
it's something that we can train to improve our notes recognition. So that
yeah. Keep up with your piano. Yeah. Piano training. Yeah.
I only need 45 more years. So I'm almost there. Just another 45 more years.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'll
So
end
till
the
next
stream.
time.
Hold on. So I think I can actually end the stream. We can stay on. So
Uh-huh.
let's see what happens.